we can start.
Oh, there we go. Here we are.
What?
We're here.
No, wait. 3, 2, 59.
Pause that. No.
No, what?
My gosh, you'd think we have this down by now.
I still haven't figured it out entirely. Someone said in a message that we should do
a video on
how to do a Hangout. We have no idea, obviously.
We don't know what we're doing.
You're just following it.
Pause that.
What? Oh, I thought I paused it. I did. There it is.
There we go. Who are we? I'm Laura. Hey, everybody.
I'm Chuck, and together we are cruising Lealea. Happily, carefree, and joyful, and certainly more than just a little bit crazy.
Well, thanks anybody joining us, and we just want a big shout out to KFSK.
KFSK Petersburg, link in the description, or wherever the description appears. Anyway, there's a link, kfsk.org, for generously allowing us to use their production booth here to do this Hangout.
Yep.
So it's very nice of them to do that.
Nice quiet place with lots of well, a good amount of bandwidth.
Enough
bandwidth
for us to do this. Yeah.
Let's see. KFSK, anything happened on the interesting on the radio? You had your radio show.
Yes.
That was
which all Beach Boys for 2 hours. And it was a pretty good show because it was almost entirely music with very little of me talking.
I thought it was pretty good. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, so did I. You know, I get to listen to all that music for 2 hours, just sit in the studio with headphones on and listen to Brian Wilson and his buds and his brothers and cousins and stuff. And it was great. It was really great. That link is on, where do we put that link?
On the logbook.
It's in the logbook.
Yeah.
The latest logbook post has a link to the radio program archive that you can listen to or download, listen to as a podcast if you like. And let's see what else. Oh, we uploaded a new Willywa video, Willywa number 5.
I can't believe you actually put something together with what you had.
I don't believe it is either. For a week, I sat there just tearing my hair out, trying to. You see, nothing left.
Nothing left.
Trying to put that video together and make sense of it all.
In
the end, it came out pretty good. I thought. I mean,
I can't believe you actually put together anything with what you had. I saw that original raw footage, and I don't know how you did it. Absolutely don't.
Just make stuff up.
We got Glenda Hernandez waving hi. Hello back, Glenda. Thanks for joining us. And Ron here, greeting from Huntsville, Alabama.
Huntsville, Alabama.
Very cool. Hey, Ron.
Does anyone ever mistake your state abbreviation for Alaska?
Alaska.
So sometimes people mistake Alaska, AK, for Arkansas.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but they do.
Yep. Let's see. So chat is enabled, and if you're joining us, pop in, enable your chat. I think it's down
in the lower right corner of your screen.
It
should be if you have if you're in what is it, theater mode? Not full screen. You can't do it if you're in full screen. So. Turn off the full screen and you can see the chat scrolling up on the right side of the screen. Yeah. And join in by all means.
Pop in, let us know where you're from, what kind of boat you have, what you're doing, what you're up to, and ask some questions. We'll answer what we can.
Yeah. So what did you want to talk about?
Oh, I don't know. Let's see. Well, there's been a ton of stuff going on in town this week.
Town's been busy, boats going up on the grid, people getting their gear sorted out for the
fishing season,
for the various fishing season, the gill netters, trollers, longliners, crabbers, everybody getting ready for the various season openings that are coming up.
Well, when we put Hallie up on the grid last week, we got up 11 o'clock in the evening, and next evening there were already 3 other boats on the grid with us, so everybody's painting and grinding and working away. Let's see, Claudia and Hal.
Lake Tapps, Washington, Newport. Did you stop at Chatterbox Falls or Jervis Inlet?
Not
yet.
there's so many places to go in so little time.
There's so many places. If you're in the Pacific Northwest, you know what it's like down there. Going up the Inside Passage north of Nanaimo, you can magnify that by 100 times. Once you get north of Prince Rupert, 1,000 times. There are so many places that you couldn't do it in 10 lifetimes. You couldn't see them all.
No. You could pick a different anchorage just motor an hour and pick another anchorage, or not even that, and just hop to place and still not see it all. Ah, very cool. Let's see, Titus Tiger, hello like this. And Chris, hey.
Designer's Choice 15, hardly a cruiser. Well,
Designer's Choice 15, like the West White Potter. I love those boats.
I'm not sure what a Designer's Choice is. Is it one of those little dinghy racers, racing dinghies? Is that what it is? I'm not sure. If it is, you're probably right. You're not going to do much cruising on it. But I have known people to explore the north side of Molokai on a surfboard. And you could call that cruising. That's even, I mean, you think the kayak people up here are hardcore. We ran into some people in a double folding kayak at Baranof Warm Springs who they were circumnavigating. Were they circumnavigating Baranof? That doesn't seem possible in one season in a kayak. But anyway, they had started in Sitka, which means they had come halfway around the island already in a kayak.
They'd only had one scary experience because they were just pulling over and camping on beaches wherever. And they only had one scary experience with a bear. That's all it would take. Hey, Frank, thanks for joining us. On my head, I can see you, but can't remember. You couldn't see me. I think that there's a software program or something.
There's something going on that
upload.
We can't see. We can't get the video chat conferencing thing going on, and I don't know if we need to download some kind of app or something, but we haven't figured it out yet.
It is. Anyway,
we'll try. However, we say we're going to try, but I think we're not going to be doing regular hangouts through the summer because, for one thing, Laura's going to be gone, and then we're both going to be gone. We go to Prince of Wales Island, the northeast side of Prince of Wales Island, and Wi-Fi is pretty thin.
Yeah, there's nothing there.
internet access period is pretty thin there, so we don't know how much we'll be able to do. But this may be the last regular hangout for the summer.
Yeah,
maybe
I
not.
think so.
But maybe.
Well,
we're still experimenting with this whole thing, this whole way of communicating with our friends and making new ones. It's new to us. It's new to most people. So we're still experimenting with it. We're going to see how it works out.
And we're having fun.
We're having fun. Interesting thing, though, these live hangouts have generated more dislikes on YouTube than we have ever had. I think we got more dislikes on the first hangout than we have had on all of the 290 some previous videos combined.
Well,
yeah.
You can't.
Oh, by the way, we just uploaded our 300th regular video. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Lealea down the Inside Passage number 5.
300 videos. Did you ever think, Chuck, when you got all this started?
No, but videos. You never do. It's the first, though. The longest journey begins with a single step, right?
Yep.
No, we're only 300 steps into it then. And if you go to watch Lealea number 5, there's a trumpet solo at the end.
That's not Chuck.
It's not me. I wish I could say it was, but it's not, because it's
the guy
excellent.
Sitting on the dock.
Just a regular old street musician playing for tips, and we talked about his new trumpet that he had just bought and the kind of mouthpieces we both prefer, and I asked permission to record him and told him I wanted to put it on YouTube, and he said, "Yeah, sure, go ahead, it'd be great." And, but he didn't have a business card.
Bummer.
And I didn't have a pen. I didn't get his name, and I have forgotten it.
Oh, that's too bad. That's too bad.
Yeah,
so if anybody knows.
If anybody knows, let me know. Tell him that he's on video. We can get in touch and properly credit him for that excellent work. I mean, he was really good. I sat and listened to him as long as he was playing, and he was really, really good.
Cool.
As you can tell by this short little clip at the end of the video there.
Yeah. Let's see, Chris S., my first Thanks for joining us, Chris. Where are you from? Chime in with where you're from. So I think you're going to take, you have what, 1 or 2 more Willowa to go?
I think just one more. Yeah. Just like
Not much there.
not much there. There's not much video and not a lot of photographs, especially towards the end, because at the end of the trip, it wasn't as we were just for one thing, the trip had run long and we were just wanting to get there, and so it was long days of at that point sunshine beating down, flat water, motoring to get there. So there wasn't anything exciting going on until we got to Friday Harbor, actually.
Oh, that's when it got real exciting.
Yeah, well, there was a few. Leaving Nanaimo, there was some interesting stuff happening, and it's worth a watch because of that. Because it's amazing how recreational boaters get when they're out there on the water and in a hurry to get someplace.
Kind of not looking forward to seeing all that again.
Oh, it's not that bad. I mean, we've been on the water so much, and we've been in a lot of that heavy traffic before. Yeah. But it was there's a place, Dodd Narrows, in the next segment. We passed through a place called Dodd Narrows, and it's very narrow. It's like, I don't think it's 50 yards wide. And you got to pass through it slack water because the currents are too strong racing through there. So we came up there and going south, and there was boats just squirting through this tiny opening, but there was a tug with a 300-foot log raft behind him, 2 tugs actually, one at the front, one at the back, and they had this 300-foot long log raft, and they were trying to get through this narrows. And
kind of sounds like Wrangell Narrows.
It was narrower than Wrangell Narrows.
Really?
Oh yeah, it was narrower than Wrangell Narrows.
Wow.
So, and that was a pretty interesting experience. We called the tug on the radio, told them, well, we'll just follow you through. Wait, you guys go, we'll wait. And people were darting in front of them, and it was weird. But anyway, we got through there, and then on down to our next stop was Pender, I think, after that, and then Friday on. So, but it was it's a great area for cruising. It's even better in the wintertime when there's not so many people out.
Well, and that's kind of what I remember most fondly about that area is those crisp mornings.
Yeah, in the late in the season,
so
or
pretty.
very early in the season, or in the off season when the weather is settled. Sometimes you get settled weather, and high pressure comes in the wintertime, and you get a nice.
Yeah, you get those cycle of fronts coming through.
Yeah,
a couple of yucky days, but
there's nobody else out there, so it's nice. It's when everybody's in a hurry. Everybody's in a hurry to squeeze a summer of fun into one weekend with their boat.
Yeah.
So anyway, everybody's got to get out on the water and have some fun. Just be responsible. Where are we? U.S. Virgin Islands, Coffee Dog. Yeah.
Oh, Coffee Dog. Hey. And Indianapolis. Mike.
Indianapolis.
So, like I said, we got Halio worked on and bottom paint on. Went down. We got to. Have you seen the new drive down dock yet?
No, actually, I haven't been there yet. They just built a new.
It's beautiful.
Well, of course, if you've been following along, you know that Petersburg, Alaska, just put in a brand new harbor. They took out the old North Harbor floats and the ramp and put in new floats and a new ramp in the North Harbor, and it's really nice.
They did a beautiful job.
Beautiful job. But they also put in a new drive-down ramp. So the drive-down ramp is, if you don't understand what that is, it's a ramp that you can drive your truck down to the water level, so you on a float, so you can load your boat.
And we're not talking little boats; they're all pretty big. They're
usually they average about
50 feet,
over 50 feet, I think.
Yeah. For
these fishing boats.
Before, you'd have to load on with a crane.
Yeah, you'd have to go to the loading dock, which is a fixed pier, and because we have 25-foot tides here.
big piers.
So that can. It's better to have a float that you can drive down to and load your boat.
The floats are nice and high too, so you can step up. Like Ken's boat, you can step right off onto the dock, which is really nice.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, got a chance to get the batteries all offloaded, and Hallie's ready to rock. Just finish supplying up and get a few more orders in, and we're ready to go.
Oh, Titus Tiger. When I was talking about cruising in the winter, I was talking about the Pacific Northwest, which means to me Northwest Washington, the Admiralty Inlet, Puget Sound, Strait of Georgia, San Juan Islands area. But where we are in Alaska, Southeast Alaska, we're quite a bit north of that, but the climate here is not much different. And you can cruise in the wintertime here in Southeast Alaska.
You just have to pick your times.
Just like in the Northwest Washington, you have to just pick your time. The weather does settle from time to time. There were many times this winter when we could have taken the boat out, except that we had winterized the boat. So, but there were several weeks actually that we could have taken the boat out.
No set time you have to be back, because you might get somewhere and get stuck there for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, that's the problem. Like Jim did up in Juneau.
Yeah.
A friend of ours here in Petersburg went up to Juneau and got stuck there with his boat for a couple of weeks. That's the thing. Cruising, you cannot have deadlines. You really can't have deadlines.
That's when you get in trouble and push to get where you're going.
Everything is weather permitting. Everything is wind and sea permitting. We'll get there when we get there. So, yeah. But back to the weather in Alaska thing, not nearly as bad as you might think. It's certainly not here in Southeast. You go up to Bristol Bay, up to Nome, and way up north, or even Anchorage, and it's a lot more harsh.
Well, everybody's picturing all the TV reality shows, the crab fishing
the TV
boats
reality shows. I'm of two minds on that. We all sit and laugh at
we go to Keto's
Alaska bush people. Keto's Cave is my favorite saloon, and you go in there, and there's the corner of the bar where we sit and watch television and have a beer in the afternoon. That Alaska bush people comes on, and everybody just laughs.
Well, they were here in town not too long ago.
They've been here in town.
And we've heard some stories. We're not going to share them.
No.
We've heard some stories.
Let's just say they're regarded as a bunch of, well, no, I won't even say that.
No, they're not Alaskans.
Not real Alaskans.
Sure.
Real Alaskans have more sense than that.
Real Alaskans consider those guys cuckoo.
To put it mildly. No, the weather here is not much, it's very much the same as Seattle area. The weather here in Southeast Alaska.
Yeah. Well, we were keeping an eye on the weather in Sitka while we were staying in Friday Harbor.
Yeah,
that was really mild.
When we were the winter we spent in Friday Harbor, and the next winter that we were in Seattle, we were watching the weather in Sitka, Alaska, because we were thinking of coming up here even then. And it was consistently
within a
warmer
couple of degrees.
It was consistently warmer and drier. That is to say, there was less snow in the winter here in Southeast Alaska than there was down in the Northwest Washington area. So if you're used to cruising in Northwest Washington, Southeast Alaska is
a little wetter.
Well, right here it's a little wetter. Southeast, we're in the Tongass subarctic rainforest, so it's a little wetter, but not. The population density difference more than makes up for any minor inconvenience that the weather may bring.
That's true enough.
Texas Gulf Coast, Port Bolivar, right on the ICW across from Galveston. Hope to get down there and check that out one of these days. I really do.
Come to Florida, boat year round.
Cooks Creek, Manitoba, and Connecticut. Yeah.
Deep any?
Connecticut. Winter in Connecticut, way worse than winter in Alaska, or at least Southeast Alaska.
And John Healy, hi Chuck and Laura from Cork, Ireland. Holy crow, welcome. Thanks for joining us.
We're getting a lot of reach on these programs, and By the way, I'm wearing my cap is imported from Donegal, Ireland.
Is it?
Oh, I think so. What's it say?
Where'd you get that? You got that when we were in Seattle?
Yeah, Donegal tweed. Genuine Donegal tweed, woven and finished
Put your
in
hat
Donegal,
back on.
Ireland.
You're glaring everybody's
I'm glaring.
The lighting in this studio is not the best.
That's why I wear a hat, a cap.
Chuck
or
has to wear a
something.
hat or else he glares everybody's eyes out. I think we're going to talk a little bit. This is kind of going to be our last Google Hangout for, I think, the rest of this summer because we're
we might
busy.
We may pop in, but I don't think we're going to do the regular weekly show or weekly chat like we've been doing.
Yeah.
We've just got other things to do, and we're not going to be able to get online as reliably with a good connection and a quiet place like we have here.
Yeah, until probably next September, October is when we'll be able to get back at this.
I will be putting together videos. I've got a lot of video projects on the back burner. And New York City, coffee dog, really? Yeah, I'll bet it was brutal.
In more ways than one.
No, I've got a lot of video footage that I want to put to work that I haven't used yet, and a lot of ground to cover that now I'm realizing, well, yeah, I can make use of these scraps, kind of like recycling.
Yeah. Tons of stuff to come up with.
One thing I want to do over the summer is put together a feature-length film, and if this Willy Wop project turns out okay when I get all of the pieces put together, I'm going to do a feature-length down the inside passage video and upload that as one piece without any ads in it.
Yeah,
and it'll be a pay-per-view, I think.
We'll try it, see what works.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the very first voyage, you're going to be re-editing.
The first voyage, it's 55 days covered, I think, by 48 videos. That whole series, and that can be certainly re-edited into a better package. So
well, we're just learning how to edit with that first series, so you've gotten a lot better.
And you can tell if you watch the early ones, I get the settings wrong on especially the first one.
The very first one.
You
can barely see it. And I love that one too, but you don't have the.
I don't have the original.
You don't have the file. So
I have the raw footage, but I don't have the edit file that goes along with it. So I can't just go in there and change the settings and make it nice. Make it work. You got to start from scratch.
That's all right, though.
That's okay.
I'm looking forward to seeing that actually.
That's okay. And then of course we have lots of boat work that needs doing, which.
That's.
Excuse me. When we've decided that Laura's going to make the first trip with Hallie by herself. And well, with
not
Dr.
quite all by
Hill,
myself.
And that I'm going to stay in town and work on the boat. I'll be able to tear the cabin apart and not worry about Laura complaining about the mess.
I never complain about the mess. Wow, man. Let's see. How about the radio show hangout? That is still.
That's still pending. I was working on that while we were waiting to get this program here on the air. KFSK has just, within the last week or so, created their YouTube channel. I haven't uploaded anything yet, so probably I'm going to make a trailer for them, I think, and we'll get started on that. I have to talk to the station manager. There's a lot going on with the radio station right now, but I'm going to talk with the station manager. I already have started, got them to create a YouTube channel. They've already got a website. They've got I think they need to open an AdSense account. And get set up to do it. But as soon as they do, then
you'll be able to do the
radio
shows.
We'll do a radio show, and it'll be an entertainment program, not just a chat. It's something you can participate in. We'll have good music going on.
That's going to be fun.
More than one person or two people just talking. Yeah. So
try and get somebody like Tom or Joe in the studio with you while you're doing it. That'd be awesome. Learn
or some other volunteer DJs.
Yeah. Ooh, Dave. You could get Dave in here. That'd be fun.
Yeah. My friend Dave, I don't even know his last name. Dave is one of the volunteer DJs. He does the Friday night milk crate station. Yeah, the milk crate sessions on Friday night. Great. Anyway,
See, what are your possible cruising plans? Whew. Nothing firm yet. We don't have.
You know,
anything
we always have a plan, but you know, we never
General.
know how it's going to happen. The plan has been for a long time now that we would leave Alaska when we leave Alaska and sail down to Port Townsend and work on the boat, and then take it across country to the Atlantic, somewhere on the Atlantic side of Mexico. Might be the Gulf of Mexico down in Texas. We might go to the Mississippi River. We might go, because we have friends in, yeah, we have friends everywhere. The Great Lakes. There's so many choices. We're having a hard time making up our mind where we're going to go. And then there's other things that have to lead up to taking the boat down to Port Townsend and spending a month or two in the boatyard. So we have to accomplish a lot of things before we get there. But cruising wise,
we're kind of one summer at a time.
One summer at a time, yeah, right now.
Get through next winter and see where we are beginning of next.
Yeah,
spring.
I'd be happy to stay here in Alaska and cruise here, but the world is so big and there's so many things to see and time is short. Let me tell you. So yeah, it's hard to say what our plans are, except that we are going to continue to cruise. We're cruising now. We're just spending time enjoying one of our cruising stopovers.
Yeah, and that's the thing about cruising. The way we do it is we do like to stop and enjoy the places that we go. To me, cruising isn't dropping anchor at 6 o'clock in the evening and pulling it up at 5 o'clock in the morning and leaving.
Yeah, but we've been in Alaska for a while, but we have not yet been in Alaska for as long as we explored the northwest coast of North America. I mean, in terms of the time we spent between Seattle and San Francisco and the San Juans and all that stuff, we haven't come close to spending that much time in Alaska yet.
Yeah.
And there's way more to see here.
See and do.
There's way more to see and do here.
Goodness.
And it's just a really nice place to be.
And we just keep hearing about more places every year.
Have you, every time I talk to a fisherman, well, have you been here yet?
No.
Oh, you gotta check that
out. Shoot. And of course, it's not easy to get from over here to over there.
Yeah.
You have to either do one summer up this way and then one summer up that way. You can't get there from here. So we could spend years more here, which
our long range goal is to cross the Atlantic. We haven't gone all the way across the Pacific in Lealea, but we've covered a lot of it in between Lealea, Spike, Africa, and Endeavour. We've covered quite a bit of the Pacific. And over the last 15 years that we've been doing this kind of stuff together, we definitely want to go to the Atlantic, but you know what, we're having a lot of fun, so we're just playing it by ear.
We have Rui T from Portugal. Hi, holy crow, what time is it there? I have to use that time zone converter. And let's see, Great Lakes. And
it's about 10 o'clock at night, isn't it?
Somewhere around there.
Yeah, it's about 10 o'clock at night in Portugal.
And Argentina.
Which is closer to our time zone.
Thanks
but way
for joining
south.
Us. Way south.
Way south. Summer down there, eh?
But it
would be interesting to get your perspective sailing on the Great Lakes. Yeah, I mean, because it's very different. I mean, about the only thing that has in common with what we've been doing is that it's water.
Oh yeah, it's a totally different beast.
Yeah, we've never done anything quite like that at all, and so it would be very interesting.
And we have the opportunity to do that too. It's one of many things we can do.
One of the so many options that we have. We were figuring that once we leave the Pacific, we may not get back here, but you never know. You never know. There's one thing we've learned is we never know what the heck's going to happen.
Things change.
I mean, we try to plan and we work towards plan, but the plans are constantly changing.
And you can't get upset when they do.
No,
because we're cruising.
Well,
we have a general idea, but that's about it.
Yeah, and that's all. I mean, trying to cruise to a rigid plan is, well, I suppose that works for some people, but it does seems to me not very fulfilling and certainly not very adventurous. You think?
Yeah.
There's more to adventure than deliberately putting yourself at risk. Let's put it that way.
Well, it's like your last video, no drama. We're all
No
about
drama.
we're all about no drama.
No, especially places like that.
No drama.
So that could have been very dramatic. It could have been extremely dramatic.
We hear the horror stories. People coming in. You heard many on your trip. People tying up at the docks and talking about how awful it was. And it all comes down to picking your time and being safe. Don't be in a hurry.
Yeah. So, no, I don't want to leave it at 10 p.m. I want to leave at 10 a.m.
No, don't do it.
Don't do it. Or, because the tides, okay, your tide window may be at 10 a.m. or it may be at 3 p.m. or it may be at 4 a.m. or whenever it is. You have to use the window that you get, regardless of whether it inconveniences you in terms of the amount of sleep you get or whatever it is. If you're moving like that, you may have to wait a few days. In our case, we had to wait. You missed the tide because of the weather, then you have to wait for the weather to pass and for the tide to come back around for you. The tide comes around every 12 hours.
You don't get it.
If you don't get it, you're going to have to wait 12 hours more for it to come.
And you can't get mad about it. There's no point.
Yeah. And if the weather isn't right, you need to just wait.
And we have, let's see, Jubbly Cubbly. Hi.
Driving in traffic here is
an adventure.
Driving in traffic where? Driving in traffic. Someone asked me if I had ever experienced weather that I found frightening, and the answer is yes, but not until fairly recently. In fact, it was only about a month ago. I actually got frightened, scared because of the weather. And it wasn't on a boat. I have never been frightened of the weather at sea. But driving on the freeway in Vermont, driving a rental car.
That rainstorm.
And a thunderstorm came in, man. And it, bang, instant visibility dropped from more than a mile to, it seemed like 10 feet. You could just barely see the front of the hood of the car. And that was scary. Slowed down from 65 down to 45, and then the taillights loomed up in front of me. Pull over to the side of the road, turn the flashers on, and hope that nobody hits the back of the car.
Yeah, no, that's no fun. Went through that on a motorcycle too once. That's really no fun.
Yeah.
Wait for the next underpass.
Anyway, the art of waiting, I think, is a key skill to master as a cruiser.
Yeah. And that comes, we were going to talk, I think, a little bit about safety today. And that's the biggest part of it, is just not pushing
patience.
Your luck.
Don't rush.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I move really slow on the boat. I watch some people moving around on the foredeck in some of the videos we watch, and they're racing around. And one hand for yourself and one for the ship. I always have, if you watch any of our videos with me moving around on the foredeck, I always have some sort of contact with the boat. I don't know how people can walk around on the foredeck and not be holding on to something. That's just not good.
I usually don't walk. Well, I will walk in flat, calm water or tied up at the dock.
Yeah,
but if the boat's moving much at all, I'm scooting around on my butt. That's the way to do it.
Yeah.
And with holding on with one hand and clipped on with at least one safety tether, sometimes two.
Yeah. Well, that's again on our boat our size. A 50-footer, you wouldn't scoot around on your butt, I don't suppose.
I don't know. Depends on how much the thing's moving.
It is. See, we have so many people moving here for jobs. They aren't used to our freeways and don't care. Oh, yeah, I'm not looking forward to my trip.
Houston, yeah. Well, that's major population centers, and we lived on an island with 1 million people. I'm going to tell people here, it's hard for you people who live here on Mitkoff Island to imagine what it's like. The island is twice the size, Oahu, twice the size of Mitkoff, with 1 million people, compared to Mitkoff with 3,000, not 30,000 or 300,000, but 3,000. So a major metro area like Houston, LA. I grew up in LA. I went to high school in the Los Angeles area, and my family lived there for a while. I know the freeway system there. Yep.
You have to
can do without it. I can do completely without it. I can do without all those people. I can do without all that.
All the traffic.
Everything that comes with all that population density.
Yeah. No,
so the thing is that in the modern world, that population density is what makes it possible for you to make a living. You get in some place that's that's comfortable, safe, and pleasant to live, that has a few hundred people, you're going to have a hard time making a living. You might have a hard time making a living. So that's the trade-off, I guess.
Yeah.
For me, there's, and that's exactly why I lived in Honolulu. While I lived in Honolulu, is because that's where the job was. That's where all the jobs were in Hawaii in those days. Still, I suppose.
Yeah.
But that's some people might say that the big metro areas are great because of the entertainment, they'll say the arts, the culture,
arts, the culture, and the entertainment,
sports, and but they're talking about diversions, entertainment. So those aren't really big factors for us.
Yeah.
And the peace, quiet, and safety of very low population density areas, very attractive for us.
Yeah.
May not be for everybody. I mean, going down to Cabo is great, like running the Baja Haha rally. That's, I think, when I first looked at it, it was 20 or 30 boats. Now it's hundreds of boats, and it's a floating party all the way down to Cabo San Lucas. I think things were advanced Cabo, but that just doesn't have the appeal to me that it might.
That it used to.
Yeah.
Well, that it used to.
Well, it was not as big a party when it did appeal to me, and now it's just there's
too many people.
Too many people going to an already crowded resort area. It just has no appeal to me.
Yeah.
So, and which is not to say that it's a bad thing. I mean,
no.
It's just it doesn't appeal to me anymore. Maybe it's
30,
just because I'm
20, 30 years ago. Yeah.
Maybe we're just getting old.
We like our quiet nights on board.
Go to bed by 9:30.
Oh, shoot. Let's see if it's Paul from the Netherlands. Hey, thanks for joining us. And let's see.
Love LA. Tons of buddies there. Torrance is my fave. That's Douglas Nance. Yeah, well, I have lots of friends in Honolulu too. It's a big city. I have lots of friends there. Love to visit with my buds. Love to go riding. If I can borrow a motorcycle. I don't have one anymore.
Yeah, you do.
Well, I do, but
can't get there from here.
Can't get there from here. Not saying there's nothing good about all that stuff, especially if you have friends and family there. However, breaking it down to basics, we would just rather be in a low population density area like this. Don't you think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I like not having to drive 45 minutes to go somewhere for a meal or grocery shopping or whatever. It's just sitting in traffic is just a waste of time.
Oh, you're a plumber.
You can work anywhere. Plumbers can work anywhere. Plumbers and electricians.
Plumbers, electricians, dentists, dog groomers. Well, no, not so much dog groomers.
Yeah, dog groomers.
Well, not so much in the cruising fraternity.
It's Paul. A few weeks ago, you were talking about the income you get from YouTube.
But have you thought about
Patreon?
Yeah, we have. We have thought about it. We've looked at it.
Didn't quite suit us.
Doesn't quite seem like a good fit for us. We don't like, first off, we don't like the idea of monthly obligations. And since we don't like to saddle ourselves with monthly obligations. We really don't like the idea of asking someone else to
saddle
saddle themselves with a monthly
obligations.
obligation to send money to
Glenn.
us. So, you know, while we enjoy small gifts and certainly helps keep us going, and
well, we do have a donation button on our logbook.
we do have a donation
So-
button on the logbook. There is, I believe, a fan funding link here. Is that it up
It's
there?
going to be up in the corner
Up in
somewhere.
the corner there. You know,
So-
because just the paradigm is changing, the attitude is changing. We set out to do a magazine business model where all revenue comes from advertising, but not much is coming, and there doesn't
Okay.
seem to be the social pushback from the donation thing as I had thought there
Yeah,
might be.
we were a little concerned about putting that button up there, but
But the Patreon model somehow it just rubbed me a little bit the wrong way, and
Well,
it doesn't seem to fit.
But part of that is you start doing that, and we would feel obviously very obliged to produce, and we're
Obligated.
cruising. We're cruising.
So what happens when we, you know, when we're at that point where we have no more video material and we have to take off for a year, and people are, you know, contributing on a monthly basis, having their bank account
Yeah, I
dinged
would
for $5
feel-
or $10
I would
or
feel
20 bucks or
horrible.
whatever it is.
I
We would feel horrible, and because we wouldn't be giving any value for the donation for the money that's being spent. So
Yeah.
we would just feel really bad about that. We'd rather keep it on a, you know, just leave a tip kind of basis.
Yeah.
Instead of that Patreon.
And I know that's working
patron,
for,
the patron system where you're basically on retainer to
I
somebody.
know that's working really well for Drake and for Teresa.
I believe it is working well for them.
And all the best to them. Wish them
Yeah,
absolute luck with that. But
and
that's not the direction that we want to head.
Not saying we would never do that, but not saying we would never do that. But it kind of changes the. So we cruise on a small income, the Annie Hill model. We're cruising on a small income that comes from our own resources. You know, I don't know. Maybe it will fit. Maybe I can see how that fits into our philosophy. But right now, I don't think it does. Patreon.
Yeah.
Asking for long-term commitments, ongoing commitments from people when we don't think we can deliver.
Right. And Lisa's saying it can be set up as a per post rather than a monthly contribution. And we have looked at that. But at the moment, I don't think we're quite willing to commit to something like that yet. So
yeah, because I mean, we post videos that are 2 minutes long, like your captured moments videos are very short, and we post videos. Some of them are 15 minutes long, and these chats that are an hour long. I'd like to have a consistent value per post if I was going to do that, and that would mean that would require us to be disciplined.
Lord help us there.
Yeah.
Let's see. Since your wife is with you, know 'tis time.
What?
I ask the same question again. What is the secret for you to get along well? Okay, here it is.
If you figured it out, you tell us, because we don't know either.
I have no idea, but funny enough, my first thing is you have to love your honey. That helps, goes a long ways. And we've met way too many people along the way where it's obvious they don't even like each other, let alone.
Yeah, sometimes it seems like it. You want to ask, well, why are you guys
together? I don't know.
Why would you put yourself in a situation where you're on a 30-foot boat for a month with someone you don't like?
But here's the thing, we kind of take different roles, and that ties in a little bit with what I think we wanted to talk about today was our role as captain and first mate. When we're on board, you're captain. There's no co-captains on Lealea. And I know, oh my gosh, I'm going to take a lot of flack for that. But you're the captain. There's no ifs, ands, or buts.
There's an issue of established respect that we started off with long before we got married, long before we started dating. and then we just agreed upon the roles that we would take. And it's not that Laura is not capable of commanding the boat. A little weak on navigation, but she can certainly make the decisions.
Well, I can look at a GPS and
give the
figure it
orders.
out,
That's not what it's about. That's not what it's about. So we've seen it in action before. We believe.
Well, and it comes back to Endeavor and learning seamanship on Endeavor. We've really learned about how important it is to maintain discipline on a ship, and whether it's a crew of 60 or a crew of 2 or 3, it's really important to have those roles established and known as to who does what, because if there's any discrepancy or any variation or any misunderstanding, that's where things get to be pretty brutal.
Well, clear understanding is something you develop over time, good communication. But discipline is essential. That's why I read the Articles of War at Sea every Sunday, followed by the floggings. What?
That's not true. That's not true. Don't let him tell you that. But we're very clear, and I put my role as wife aside when we're out. And there are times where you are telling me what needs to be done, and if I had my wife hat on, I'd go, "Don't talk to me like that. Don't be so short." But it comes down to when an order is given that you want me to do that, it needs to be done now, and there's no.
Well, it's not so much in the form of orders as the deciding the timing. We both know what needs to be done, when it needs to be done. Sometimes one of us will see something that needs to be done, and it's my job to arrange the timing of what needs to be done, when it needs to be done, and if there's a decision that needs to be made between one course of action or another, it's my decision.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
and it's not that a decision that I would have made would have been wrong. It's that sometimes,
it was just a matter of eliminating confusion.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And it's the eliminating confusion. So there's only one captain aboard Lealea, and that is Chuck. And we're very, very clear on that. And I think that works really well. Now, when we're at the dock, you get to do the dishes and clean up and all of that stuff.
Yeah,
we share responsibilities.
I make the coffee in the morning. I do the dishes.
But when we're out, I'm the cook, and I get the responsibility of all that. Your role is to get us safely from point A to point B, and I'm there to help you accomplish that task. Dougie,
we already have a lot of boat project video that I have not yet put together and uploaded. That's going to be coming up. Also, this next project, we're going to be very careful to document everything and upload that for you too. Got some great ideas from Larry Wills, who's done his boat, and so that's definitely in the works. You're going to see some of that. And let's see, what Lisa says is true. Most important that you feel comfortable with it. What? Oh, Patreon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when we do the refit, there's going to be a ton of video for that.
Yeah.
We still have all of our old boatyard stuff that we haven't gone.
Yeah, I haven't done the last refit. Haven't done any of that.
Our Port Townsend refit, none of that has been posted. There's a little bit on our website in the boatyard.
Yeah, a little bit of some still pictures and stuff.
Yeah, ports of call in the boatyard, and still pictures of what Lealea looked like when we got in after that 55-day trip. She was trashed.
Have I been? Oh, so silly question for Chuck. No, I take pills now.
You resisted. Resistance.
Yeah, resistance is futile. Actually, we went this last trip that I did last summer, went down the Inside Passage. It wasn't rough enough for me to get seasick. I brought pills with me just in case. Never took them.
It's mostly when we get out and do the sailing that you get sick.
Yeah, and I think it has a lot to do with fatigue. Also brings it on. But no, I don't even mess around with it anymore. It's not fair to Laura for me to get sick. and put all the burden on her, because when you're seasick, you can't do jack. You can't do anything.
Yeah, but you did. I mean, that first trip.
Take the pills.
Yeah, just take the pills. It's easier that way. And patch or pills, you're going to have to experiment. We've heard so many things from different people saying this is the only thing that works for me, or that's the only thing that works for me, and it might very well be there's only one thing that works, and you're just going to have to find it. Might take some time. Sorry, but once you find it, it'll work and it'll all be good.
We'll see. Northwest Backcountry. In aviation, we call that cockpit resource management, or CRM. Yeah, so it's aviate, navigate, communicate. Yep, know about that.
Crazy idea of accidental sailor, girl's husband working on Lealea with Chuck for the refit. Hey, if anybody wants to help.
Sure, man. I got paint brushes, I got rollers, I got gloves, I got scrapers, I got all that
Don't
stuff.
know where we're going to be yet, but if anybody wants to help, oh my goodness, you're welcome. Let's see. Besides the patch or pills, there's so many things out there.
There's a lot of natural remedies, and all of them work to some degree or another. Frankly, though, the best cure for seasickness is a long nap under an apple tree. I just take Dramamine, Bonine, same dang thing. And they both work fine for me. Chewable, so one a day or one every 12 hours or whatever it is, tablets. And they work fine for me, and there's no hassle, and they're relatively inexpensive, and they're available everywhere.
If you have room, I mean, if you're out and you have room to sling a hammock, we found out on Endeavor,
sleeping in a hammock works
really well.
Instantly stops your seasickness when you climb into a hammock. Ginger, real fresh ginger. Ginger ale was good, mainly just because the sensation, it helped clean your mouth out and felt good going down my throat. I'm not sure.
And what did you say for eating food for coming back up? There were some things you just couldn't stand coming back up.
Yeah, some things go down okay, but don't come up worth a dang. And other things, like
macaroni
and cheese, pretty easy to come back up.
Apples, not so much.
Well, you got to chew them up real good.
Yeah. All right, moving on.
That's enough of that.
Hold the bag tight so you don't spray. Bag or blue bucket? We like the blue buckets. That's also an Endeavor
Hold the bag tight so you don't spray. Yeah, well, that's in an airplane. They had the special buckets on Endeavor. They had the blue plastic Rubbermaid
with the
buckets.
Little smiley faces on the bottom.
They had smiley faces painted in the bottom of them.
That's too funny. So, well, kind of back onto the captain and first mate roles, which somebody kind of asked about, and we were going to kind of talk about that a little bit more today. We just kind of fell into it naturally, and it's never been a question for us. But we've known people who argue over it, who's going to be captain, and then they're co-captains, and that means they have to discuss every decision. But it's something you have to work out for yourself, because the personality fits, the relationship that you have with your partner, your crew. Well, we met that one couple that they would go on 12-hour watches.
Yeah.
Remember, they would take 12 on, 12 off.
I know.
And we've met other people that are kind of like us. We keep regular watches.
Yeah. Well, Judy and Ken. Judy's always the skipper.
Yeah. Judy's
always the skipper. Ken's always the crew. And they're not the only ones we know that do it that way.
Yeah.
But what works for us works for us. It may or may not work for other people, but this way works for us.
And that one other couple we met, she never did anything on foredeck. He did everything. She'd just go down and sleep. He'd keep all the night watches. So
she did almost nothing at all.
That worked well for them because they've done a bunch of cruising. They've been all over the place.
He liked a single hand, and she just came along for the ride.
And cooked for him.
I guess, did she cook?
I think so. What's the point in having her along if she doesn't at least cook?
Seriously?
a man has to take full watches, you could at least cook for him.
Not true.
But it comes down to what works best. You have to figure it out. Of all of our passages,
Safety wise, there's no room
time.
for arguing. I mean,
yeah.
People who've been in the military understand, especially if you've been in the military under harsh conditions. Obedience. Maybe that sounds so.
It's
but it's true. When you're told to do something, you need to do it right now. If the person responsible, presumably, what? Yeah. Huh? No, I don't want to. It rarely comes to anything like that, though. But when we're performing a task, shortening sail in a hurry, or dealing with a knockdown, for example, or just time to change the sails. The roles need to be clearly defined, and they can't be changing back and forth.
Yeah, that's where,
in my opinion,
that's.
If it works for you, taking turns being captain and galley slave back and forth, that's fine. But
it just works better for us. And I have to say, we've always gotten from point A to point B safely every time. So.
Yep. And still friends when we get there. Every time.
We still talk.
Never fails.
55 days at sea, and we were still. That was the one big question. You guys are still talking to each other.
Still talking to each other. Yep, we're still talking to each other.
Yep. So that's what works for us, and I don't know what else to say. Best respect. And
Coffee dog. He says, you single hand, she turns in. Yeah, that's cool. And who was it? That couple in Hawaii. You know what I'm talking about. She said she does all night by herself.
Yeah, what's her face?
Yeah. I can't remember her name. I can't remember their names, but she said that she did the nights and he did the days, and that's how they did it. They
were totally fine with that.
Yep.
Let's see.
Working for a common goal. You got it.
Yep. And Northwest Backcountry, that's exactly it. And it is keeping that common goal in mind, working the boat, working together to get it from point A to point B safely. And that's what it's all about.
Let's see. It's my thing. You've had a knockdown. Yeah, a couple times, actually.
Yep. When was our very first overnighter? When we went
the first time we went overnight, we went to Kauai, and then we went from Nawili Wili in the race to Hanalei Bay, and we were so slow and late getting started that we got there after dark and decided to heave to outside the bay, and we got knocked down out in the channel between Oahu and Kauai.
Yeah, that was exciting.
Another time, went out with some friends from Endeavor and poked our head out. Well, you weren't with me. It was just me and Edsel or whatever his name was. And we went out and poked our head out past Diamond Head in Mamala Bay there. And as soon as the wind came around from the other side of Diamond Head and
you get a watch going around
hit the
Diamond
boat,
Head.
Wham! Spreaders in the water, man. It was exciting.
We got hi from Gavin and Jazz from Cairns, Australia. Very cool. Welcome. And Serge, test.
Sergey, test. Successful. We got the message.
Sideways scared the crap out of me. Dougie, really bad stall in a storm. They got caught sideways. Yeah. We've never had a real scary moment, and I don't say that I ever care to. We can avoid at all costs. If we can avoid it, no fun.
Well, if you're paying attention, you can. Weather is something.
Generally,
doesn't really surprise you because you can see it coming.
Generally, unless it's at night.
And then you need so that's why one reason why we always shorten sail
at night
at sundown. Just to prepare for the unforeseen weather change during hours of darkness.
Because all the bad stuff happens at night. That's
all the bad stuff happens at night.
All the bad stuff happens at night when it's dark and you're tired and
and
you can't see, and it's pouring rain and and the waves are up and yeah, no.
Lions and tigers and bears.
Oh
my.
What do we do? Yeah, no, we just found that was our first trip. We kind of set that because we got caught with our shorts down, I think, twice.
Oh,
and it's
that
like
first
never
trip we
ever
were bowling along. Remember that? We were bowling along with
wing on wing.
Big Genoa out on one side, full mate on the other side, wing and wing.
Having a great time.
Just woo, bowling along, and then all of a sudden, hey, we're really going fast here, aren't we? And then bang, the sheet let go on the jib.
Yeah, that was my fault.
Man.
Oh well.
Learn something new every day.
Yep.
We could have prevented that had we simply adopted the rule of shortening sail before dark at that time. That's one of the reasons we did it.
Now, if we had 3 people on board, that might be different. If you could have 2 people on deck at night.
Yeah.
But you have 2 people and you're on and you're off and you're on and you're off, and it just gets too tiring to be going full bore all the time.
Yeah.
So yeah, we go.
So you take it easy. You slow it down. You take precautions. You don't push your luck.
And that all comes back to safety. For rule number 1 on the boat.
Don't fall off.
Don't fall off the boat. Rule number 1 on Lealea. Don't fall off the boat. Another valuable lesson learned from Endeavor.
What do you got here? Okay.
Small O'Day, and the spreader almost touches the oncoming wave.
Yahoo. Yeah, it can get exciting. It's amazing how exciting it can get going 5 or 6 miles an hour. Or under 10 miles an hour.
That always seems faster.
Oh, God. 10 knots in a Vega is fast, really fast.
Hold fast.
Hold fast, yeah.
And let's see, Niva G63, did you find anything about the empty fishing camp you visited with Tom? We have gotten a couple of interesting emails with some tidbits of information.
Yeah, we did. What it comes down to, here's what we know. Here's what we think we know. Okay. Old Buck passed away, and his daughter Shelly Buck took over the camp. There were some changes in the marketplace, the fishing camp marketplace, with some other big operators coming in. There was some weather going on. People were being bought out. Anyway, Bucks was struggling. They went into their 40th anniversary season, and they moved the camp from Rivers Inlet to a place I'm not exactly sure where for their 2009 season, which would have been the 40th anniversary season. And we found brochures from 2009 at the camp when we were there. So we figure it operated 2009, had a bad year. Then they towed the camp someplace else and stashed it in the back of this little bay where we found it. So it's not in Rivers Inlet. It's not in the next location that they towed it to for that 2009 season. They towed it someplace else and parked it there, and that's where we found it. And it has not operated since 2009. So that's what we found out about it. And we've exhausted all the leads that we have for contacting the owners. Tried calling their phone numbers, tried emailing them, tried writing to everything, but
nobody there.
No response.
Nobody's
so
there.
That's what we know about Buck's Trophy Lodge at this stage of the game. It's just sinking into the water there in that little bay where they stashed it.
Let's see. Stephen, I just wanted to say that the 2 of you are great role models for the rest of us. Thank you so much for sharing your adventures with us. Stephen, thank you for that. Chuck and I we are always amazed and astounded with the amazing people that we have met through certainly the Google Hangout, all of our time with our website, Cruising Lealea, the number of emails that we get. You guys have just as cool of stories as we do. We're just one little snippet of a cruising lifestyle, and everyone's doing their own thing, and everyone has a cool story to share, and that people are interested in our story is shocking.
Yeah.
To us, and that we're role models for anyone is well, thank you for that. It's very much appreciated.
Yeah. Surfing. We've been surfing in Lealea.
Yeah.
At Alinuihaha channels. Great video of it. We were arrived there. The wind was blowing 35 knots, 13-foot seas.
Yeah, that was an exciting day.
That was an exciting day. And we were doing 10 knots. Lealea's hull speed is under 7, 6.8, I think. We're doing 10 knots
with the number 3 jib up.
With this tiny jib, running downwind, and boy, was it exciting!
It was fun.
We were actually pooped. A wave came over the quarter and filled the cockpit, and actually
we got several
down into the
gallons
cabin.
Down below.
About 5 gallons went down into the cabin. So.
And then Northwest Backcountry did 11 knots in a 96-ton squared schooner when I was 13. Name of the schooner, Chuck probably knows it. Well, how fast did we get Endeavor? She was going
11.
Yeah, she was doing 11 knots. That old tub. Boy, the
Endeavor replica is a 97 feet on deck, 151 feet overall, 3-masted, square-rigged ship, which they call a bark, because Cook was only a lieutenant, not a captain, so you can call it a ship. Anyway, shaped like a shoebox. I mean, really, it's just square in front and just a little bit rounded off on the corners, but pretty much the bow is just
square
shoebox, Yeah, that was amazing.
Pacific Swift, Vancouver. Very cool.
Video number 39. I don't know. Might be.
You would know better than us. We've been kind of getting a laugh. Tom Parenteau.
Yeah.
Has been going through and commenting on some of our older videos, and we've been kind of going in and watching a couple too, and yeah, we've done some stuff. It's kind of funny. Go back. Anyway, Tom's been dragging us back through memory lane. It's been kind of fun.
We've run over again. It's 5 after 2 already. We were only going to do an hour.
Yeah, we were only going to do an hour. Wow, hour goes past.
That's okay. We don't have, we have lunch.
Yeah, we're going to head over to Keto's, and the sun is not shining. We got a little bit of rain, but mosey back over to Keto's and sit and have a beer and have some lunch and kind of go over plans for next week. So just a reminder about the fan funding button. I think it's up in the corner here. Anything donated in the next 24 hours, we will be passing on to KFSK, and because of course their funding has been substantially cut in this latest state budget, and they're hurting. So we're doing what we can to give them a hand. And of course,
and we are using their facility for this hangout. We're using their bandwidth, their internet connection, and this is a soundproof production booth that we're in. You can't see it, but it's stacked with computers and monitors and mixing boards and all kinds of stuff.
And it's got Zappa.
And it's got Frank Zappa over here. But not just Frank Zappa. There's a lot of people back there looking over our shoulder. And that's about
it. So,
is there anything we forgot to?
Well, I was just gonna, if you get a chance, go into cruisinglealea.com. Someone was asking earlier about boatyard stuff, and in the ports of call, there is a section on the boatyard, and it's got a write-up and a bunch of pictures that you can read about what we redid while we were hauled out in Port Townsend. And of course, you can always check up on Facebook and see.
I got to answer a couple of questions here.
Oh, got a couple of questions.
Yeah, Jackson Wolf. If you're talking to me about Endeavor, just look it up. It's the Endeavor replica. That's ENDE and OUR at the end. And it's an Australian ship. It's a replica of the ship that Captain James Cook sailed on his first voyage of discovery.
Divorce boat.
Yeah, in 1765. It's the way they built cargo ships in those days. So just look it up. Divorce boat? Yeah, well, here's the key. See, I had the boat before I had the woman. See, I had the boat before I had the girl. So
and we had a chat about that.
We had a chat about it. I said, this is the way it is.
You made it perfectly clear, and I agreed. So there we go.
Take it or leave it, basically.
And let's see, nice chat. Fair wins. Thank you, Michael. And I think that's about it. Thanks again to KFSK. And do you have anything else to say, Chuck? Besides bye-bye?
Yeah, heading over to Keto's, have a pint.
Sounds like a plan.
Okay.
All right, guys. Thanks, everyone, for joining us. This is,
so I do my radio sign-off, okay?
It's
the way I end my radio programs.
All right.
Hey,
go. Yeah.
Aloha no, kako, ahui ho. Aloha indeed to all of us. Until we meet again, I'm Chuck.
I'm Laura.
We're cruising Lealea. You know what? A little bit crazy. Malama pono. Take care.
Bye, guys.